Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Grustotram. Akhanda mandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darsitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Ajnana timirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshur militam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam, Yatkim Sacharacharam, Tatpadam Darsitam Yena, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darsitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva sarvam amadeva deva Tvameva sarvam gurudeva deva. Hari Om. We start the Atmabodha text. Last time we gave introduction to this vasanas, the chart, the body, mind and intellect are the three equipments that we have. And although they are equipments, we take ourselves to be I am the body, I am the mind and I am the intellect, because I do not know what my true nature is. So I am, and this body, this mind and this intellect, so I am, this is in essence is called ego, ahankara. So I am equal to this, where I am is an existent entity and a conscious entity, identifying myself with this constitutes the body, mind, intellect, or which are inert. It constitutes a confusion because I am an existent conscious entity being identified with an inert entity which is body, mind, intellect. But that's because I do not know my true nature. That is, what is myself, what is the nature of the self, that is Atma, and that I do not know. Therefore, I take myself what I am not as I am, as I am the body, mind, intellect. And because the body, mind, intellect are limited, I take the limitations of the body, mind and intellect as my limitations. Since I am not really limited, I don't like myself to be limited also. So when I take the body, mind and intellect as myself and their limitations and their properties as my properties, I suffer the consequence of that identification. And therefore, I like to be infinite, that is my true nature. So to solve the problem, I try to acquire things to make myself infinite. So I am right now localized body, mind, intellect, but would like to be infinite, and therefore I keep adding myself. I want this, I want this, I want this, to solve a problem where I would like to become ultimately infinite by adding finite things. Mathematically, that cannot be possible. Finite plus finite is only finite, cannot be infinite. Therefore, scripture says you are trying to solve a problem in a wrong way. So you can never become infinite by adding finite things. But I want to become. So the struggle goes on life after life because I want to be happy, and happy state is where limitless state is the pure happy state. That means I have to be really become infinite to be absolutely in the happy all the time. Therefore, a problem cannot be solved. At the same time, I cannot remain idle because I want to become and I cannot become. So the whole life goes on with this struggle from birth to death, trying to acquire, trying to aggrandize so that I can be happy. Happiness is only limitless state, and therefore I had to know the truth, and scripture says what you need to know is Atmabodha. You have to true nature of yourself, and this is the text that is entitled Atmabodha by Shankara Bhagavad Pada. And we're going to start with this sloka by sloka. This is a prakarana granta which summarizes the essence of all the Upanishads in a condensed form, and also picturizes in each sloka an example that we can use, a worldly example that we are familiar, that we can use to understand the concept involved. So with that background, let's start with the first sloka. You should have your books with you because this is an intensive study where we don't just listen and forget it. We have to apply this. Therefore, I recommend everyone to have Atmabodha text, and we'll go by sloka. So when I chant the sloka, you repeat after me so that it will be, you can read also afterwards and also memorize it. So we'll start with the first sloka. Tapo bhikshina papanam, tapo bhikshina papanam, shantanam vitaraginam, shantanam vitaraginam, mumukshunam apechyoyam, mumukshunam apechyoyam, Atmabodho vidhiyate, Atmabodho vidhiyate. Together. Tapo bhikshina papanam, shantanam vitaraginam, mumukshunam apechyoyam, Atmabodho vidhiyate. So here, Shankara is trying to define why this text being written. So for any text, we have to justify what is the purpose of this text and to whom it is written, or the adhikari of the student, and what do I gain out of this text. So all are packed in this sloka. So here it is addressed to, just like a preface in any text, this is those are prerequisite for studying a particular text. So here the Shankara Bhagavata says, Tapo bhikshina papanam, shantanam vitaraginam, mumukshunam apechyoyam. This is the qualifications of the student to whom this is addressed. Tapo bihi means by austerities. By austerity means where I control my mind so that my mind is under control. In my control. When I say this is my mind, obviously this is my equipment that I can use. But unfortunately, I become a slave to my mind, the likes and dislikes of the mind. I am being driven by that. So I want this, I want that. So it's like a rat race. I cannot go against my own mind's likes and dislikes. But therefore, tapas is used. Tapas is austerity, is a sadhana. Sadhana is a means to acquire something for a sadhyam. So I need an effort in order to gain something. This is true across the board in any pursuit in any pursuit in life. To acquire something, I have to make an effort. And therefore, even to acquire the required qualifications to study, I need to prepare my mind by sadhana. And therefore, tapobihi, by austerities. So, for example, if I want to study or pass the examination, I should have a determination and control my mind so that my mind doesn't get dissipated in all other things, so that it can concentrate on the studies that I want to do. So is this Atmabodha. So therefore, if I want to know myself, if I want to know the scriptural teachings, I should have that control. My mind should be available for the study. So tapobihi china papanam. By austerities, the mind is purified from all the sins. China papanam. Papanam is our sins. So those whose minds are purified by sadhana, and purification of the mind is where all the sins are disturbed. What is a sin? I think the beautiful definition is given by Swami Chinmayanji. Says sin is nothing but the divergence between the mind and intellect. So if you look at I switch somewhere here. If you look at the so if you look at the body and mind and intellect in the chart, the mind and intellect are the two equipments, and the divergence between the mind and intellect. Is it okay? Guidance, I don't see myself there, that's why. Okay. Excuse me, we are trying to look at the okay. So when you say, excuse me, the mind and intellect are the two equipments they have. Intellect knows what is right and what is wrong. So it is a determination factor, a deciding factor, and the mind is like a clerk, whereas the intellect is like an officer. So the officer has to decide what is to be done. So, but mind is only has to execute what the officer says. But if mind itself acts independent of the officer, even though officer says something, then that office becomes a real problem. So here the problem is, I know what is right and what is wrong. That's what the intellect tells. But mind says, I feel like doing this, even though I know it is wrong. So in spite of what my intellect says that's not the right thing to do, I try to do something because it is driven by my likes and dislikes, or because I like this to do, I feel like doing this, and I do it even though it's the wrong thing to do. That compromisation between the mind and intellect, when the intellect says not to do and still mind says doing it, the divergence between the two is what is Swamiji calls it as a sin. The greater the divergence, the bigger the sin. So therefore, tapo bit shina papanam, therefore by austerities or by the yogic process, that is karma yoga and bhakti yoga, all that are part of this tapobihi. Therefore, by that process, I have integrated the mind and intellect. So yoga is the one that integrates the mind and intellect as one. So whatever I think and whatever I feel are in line. That's called arjavam, straightforward. What he thinks, what he feels, and what he speaks, and what he does, they're all in straightforward, and therefore that is what one requires, and that what one acquires by austerities. So that tapo bit-shina papanam. So papanam is where one has integrated the mind and intellect together. And that's what we do whenever we do any ritual. It says samasta durita shayartam aham idam karishye. Any puja we follow. It says because of reducing my sins, I am doing this ritual. That's what this in the sankalpa we do it. So in the same way, tapo bihi, by austerities I have reduced my sins. So here I want to address a little bit. So people have a notion, particularly those who are familiar with J. Krishnamurti philosophy and all that. He says, my mind is conditioned because I think because of the way I have been brought up, therefore I am conditioned to think in that sense. Therefore, what should I do? I have to decondition my mind. So if you ask him, how should you decondition? He cannot tell you a process because very process, according to him, conditions it. But Vedanta says, no, you need a process, that is a sadhana, is required in order to purify the mind, because by deliberately you have impurified the mind, therefore you need a process that is called tapas, or which is called yoga also. You need karma yoga and bhakti yoga or upasana yoga in order to purify oneself. And that, by that process, the one who has purified tapobit Chinapapanam, Shantanam. Shantanam is one whose mind is calm and serene, unperturbed, at least during the class time. So therefore, whose mind is readily available for the knowledge to take place. That is called Shantanam. Vitaraginam. So the one who has no more pull by the ragadveshas, where raga dveshas or likes and dislikes have been neutralized. So I want this all rajasic aspect of it, where mind becomes restless and he is not able to sit properly, at least during the class time, and he becomes too restless, therefore he moves. Only those people who have the value for it and who have a commitment for it, and they are the ones who have the required qualifications also, and therefore they have the raga and dvesha are under control. That means their vasanas are neutralized, and the vasanas neutralized becomes a bhushanam. So Shankara is Pannaga Bhushanam. Pannaga is vasanas, they are under his control. Basically, they becomes a bhushanam when you have under your control all your vasanas. So for them, Shantanam, Vitaraginam, Mumukshunam, the one who is desired of moksha. So here it's not the knowledge for any knowledge you need all other things. For any knowledge you need a calm mind, quiet mind, a mind that is dedicated or absorbing in the knowledge. But here we need a mind that where he doesn't want anything else related to the external things. He wants a liberation. Mumukshunam, the one who is desire of moksham, Ichhasu, the one who is desiring the moksha. So what is moksha? Moksha is freedom from all limitations. So I want to be free. That means freedom from all dependence. So when I do not depend on anything other than myself for my happiness, then I am free. When I am depending on somebody or something else, if for my happiness, then I am bound or I am slave to that. Whether it can be object or it can be person. Therefore, the moksha is I should have complete freedom where I am depend on myself. That means I am happy by myself. And that is what Krishna calls is Sita Prajnaha. Says Atmani eva Atmana tushtaha. The one who is reveling in himself. Why? The self that he revels is the very source of happiness. Therefore, that is a freedom. So any dependence other than oneself is a bondage. And dependence on oneself is a liberation. So that moksha is one of the Purusharthas, the four Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Moksha is the highest one, and the Dharma, Artha, Kama are to be directed towards the moksha because that is the ultimate goal of human life itself. That's called Purushartha. So those who are desirous of getting liberated. So liberation from what? Liberation from all limitations. And how can I become unlimited? By understanding the Atmabodha. That's essentially what he's going to tell. So mumukshonam pichoyam. So the one who wants to get liberated and who are seeking for this 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 knowledge. So Atmabodho vidhiyate. To them, to those qualified students, this text Atmabodha is being discussed, is being composed by me. So essentially, Shankara is telling us to whom this is composed. So what do I gain out of this? I gain because I am mukshuna, I am trying to get liberated. So what is liberation involved by knowing Atmabodha? So by knowing the Atmabodha, how am I going to get liberated? Unless the Atma that I want to know is complete and full. So here Atma eva bodha also. Not only Atmasya bodha, it is Atma eva. The nature of the Atma is complete and full. It is Chaitanya Swarupam. And that is also being indicated in the first sloka. So what I want to gain is also being indicated. So by studying this text with the prepared mind, those who have the required qualifications, they can gain the Atma Bodha, or the knowledge of the self. And by knowing the knowledge of the self, you get liberated. How? The knowledge of the self is not just self, I am the self. It is, as Krishna says, Sarvabhutastam Atmanam Sarvabhutani cha Atmani. One who knows oneself also knows that not only that he is the self in everything, also the self that pervades everything also. Sarvabhutani cha Atmani. I am there as the essence in everything is also be understood as a part of Atmabodha. With that, we'll go to the next sloka. Bodhonya sadhanebhyo hi sakshat mokshaika sadhanam pakasya vaknivajnanam vina moksho na siddhyati. Together. Bodhonya sadhanebhyo hi sakshat mokshaika sadhanam pakasya vaknivajnanam vina moksho na siddhyati. So here he is trying to qualify why the knowledge of the self is the supreme. So bodha anya sadhanebhyo. This Atma Bodha we're talking about. So bodha anya sadhanebhya. So in comparison to all other means of knowledge, all other means of liberation. So if you look at the Gita or any other texts, we have different types of yogas are described. So there is a karma yoga, there is a bhakti yoga, there is a jnana yoga, and some people also talks about other yogas. And here all are means. Yoga means to yoke myself to the highest. That is the process. And for all the sadhanam, all the means of knowledge that are available for us, here Shankara says, anya sadhanebhya, bodha is indeed sakshat mokshaika sadhanam. It is the direct means of knowledge, direct means of liberation. Sakshat mokshaika sadhanam. It is a means for liberation, as among all other things is a direct means. What's a direct means and what is indirect means? So all other yogas are being described in the Gita also. But for all the yogas, this is the direct means of liberation. So what is the purpose of other yogas? As just we did in the previous sloka, they are preparation of the mind so that I can get to this stage. Essentially, they are the Jnana Yoga, Sadhyata Siddhyartham, all other yogas. So in the third chapter of Gita, Krishna says there are only lokeshmin dividhanashta pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. There are only two yogas there is specified. Says there is a karma yoga and there is a jnana yoga. So essentially, when Arjuna asks, why are you, even though you have glorified karma yoga, the jnana yoga by Sthita Prajna Lakshana description, so why are you pushing me to do this ghora karma here of killing all these people? Says there are two paths. One is the karma yoga and one is the jnana yoga. There he does not specify what is bhakti yoga, because bhakti yoga is essence for both karma yoga and jnana yoga. You need bhakti yoga, you need a bhakti in order to follow either karma yoga, because karma yoga involves Ishvara arpita buddhi and prasada buddhi. For that I need to have a Ishvara. For that I need to have a bhakti. So karma yoga, the foundation will be bhakti will be there. But karma yoga is where I perform an action and offer the results to the Lord. So therefore I am non-reactive. So karmani eva adhikaraste. I have always choice in performing action. So I can do, not do, or do in another way. Kartum sekyum, akartum sekyum, anyadha kartum sekyum. But I have a choice in performing an action. Karmani eva adhikaraha. Adhikara means here we have to interpret as I have only choice in performing. As a human being, I have no choice but to choose at any time. I am always at crossroads. And I had to make a choice to do or not to do, or do it in another way. So I am not doing is also a choice of action for which I am accountable. Therefore, I cannot but choose. And when I am choosing it, I get agitated in the process because I am doing an action with some expectation of a result, and I am worried about whether the result is going to be to my liking or not. Therefore, my mind get perturbed because of my expectations and the future of the results of the action. Therefore, Krishna says, karmani eva adhikaraste. You have only choice in performing an action. You cannot choose the result. The results are given by the laws of nature where you are not the author of that. So he is called karma paladata, Ishvara. Ishvara is karma paladata. So if I have, as I said last time, if I have a stone in my hand, I have a choice to throw here, to throw there, to this side, that side. But once I throw it, the trajectory is not dictated by me. It is dictated by the laws, gravitational force, frictional forces and all that. That determine the trajectory path of the stone. So I have no control on those laws. I cannot change the gravitational force to choose my convenience. I can operate knowing the laws in such a way that I can get the results within the rules of the game. That I can do. That's what is karmani eva adhikaraste means. And in all those processes, I can only perform an action and the results are coming to me. And for me to be non-reactive to the results, if I offer the results because he is the one who is giving the results, and if I have an attitude or a correct understanding that the results are coming from him, laws, that I am not the author, he is the author. So, karmani eva adhikarasti. Therefore, I only have a choice, but he is the one, karma paladata. So therefore, Ishvara is the one who gives the results, and whatever the results that come from the Ishvara, we call it a prasadam. And somebody gives a prasadam, we don't react it. We just accept it with a reverential attitude, whether it is a bitter prasadam, whether it is a sweet prasadam, whether it is we like it or we don't like it. Once it says it's prasadam, we take with a reverential attitude. Why? Because it's coming from him. So if I have the same understanding that all the results of actions are prayer to the Lord and the prasadam as a result comes from him, then I do not react to the prasadam, I only accept it. And I can perform, if the result is not the way I wanted it, therefore I had to refine my action next time so that I can get what I want. So this is the process of karma yoga. So that karma yoga, it only gives you always a finite result. and that finite result will not give me the complete happiness. Therefore, Karma Yoga can only prepare the mind by recognition of the Ishvara, prepare my mind in conducively by purifying the mind. That's for the purpose of Karma Yoga. So, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, Upasana, all that are preparatory for, so that the mind is tapo bhikshina papanam, and as we said, chantanam vitaraginam mukshunam apechoyam, to that Atmabodha. So therefore, bodhonya sadhanebhyo hi. So for all the sadhanas, all the means of acquiring to that moksha, bodha means the knowledge is sakshat mokshaika sadhanam, is a direct means of knowledge, means of moksha. Why? How can I be by the knowledge? How can I acquire moksha? Knowledge only removes the ignorance. Knowledge doesn't do anything other than removing the ignorance. So how can I gain moksha by having a knowledge? Unless moksha involves removing the ignorance. Then bodha is sakshat mokshaika sadhanam. Therefore, nature of the bondage has to be understood here, because the bondage is due to ignorance. That's what our scripture says. Because I do not know what my true nature is. I do not know who I am. Therefore, the purpose of Vedantic education is to relearn or re-educate or reanalyze or realize my true nature of what is the self. And for that, I should know, and that means the ignorance of myself is removed. Therefore, only knowledge can remove ignorance. Action cannot remove ignorance. Action may be preparatory to gain the knowledge, but preparation has to follow by the study of the scriptures. So therefore, sakshat mokshaika sadhanam, all are preparation for preparing the mind, or called chitta suddhi. And once the preparation of the mind is complete, then I had to go tadvijnanartam sa gurum eva abhigached. For that, I have to approach a teacher who is sotriyam brahmanishtam, who has the knowledge of the scriptures and who can teach me what the scripture says. And therefore, the knowledge alone is sakshat mokshaika sadhanam, is the direct means of liberation. And jnanam bina moksho nasidyati. Without the knowledge, there cannot be any liberation. So it is not going somewhere, because this is we have to understand the freedom. It's not going somewhere, doing something for liberation. It is trying to gain my true nature of what is Atma. That itself is the moksha. And here he gives a simple example. Pakasya vaknivat. Pakasya vaknivat. For cooking the fire. In the same way, the jnanam is required for moksha. So if I have to cook something, what do I need? I need all other ingredients. I need rice, I need dal, I need all vegetables, everything is required. But if I don't have the fire, nothing can be done. Although all other sadhanas are essential, the primary requirement for the food is essentially you need the fire to cook. So, pakasya vaknivat. In the same way, just as the fire is the essential requirement among all the other requirements, this becomes important. Although all others are preparatory things that are required before you start this. And in the same way, jnanam bina moksho nasiddhyati. Without the jnanam, moksha cannot be gained. So what kind of jnanam we need? Any knowledge will do it. So we have say in the Kali Yuga, all you have to do is do the bhajan or kirtan and you get liberated. That's only preparation. All that only meant for preparing the mind. What liberates it? Ultimately, the knowledge. So what kind of knowledge? And Shankara says in the Viveka Chudamani, na yogena na sankhena karmana no na vidyaya brahmatmaika bodhena moksha siddhyati nanyatha. So he says, na yogena na sankhena karmana no na vidyaya brahmatmaika bodhena, where I had to understand Brahma and Atma Aikyam, that is called Mahavakyam. So Mahavakya bodhena, only by the process of Vedantic knowledge, where the nature of self and nature of that is Tat Tvam Asi, that is the nature of the universe, and Tvam is the nature of myself, and has to be understood. The relation between me and the world has to be understood clearly, and that understanding, that bodha is the Sakshat Mokshaika Sadhanam. That is the direct means of knowledge. So it's not only any knowledge. So Atmabodha involves knowing the self, involves knowing the world also. It's called, that's why Advaita Vedanta says Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. So Brahma Satyam, Brahma is the truth, absolute, and the world that I am seeing is Mithya. That also has to be understood, and the equation between the two also has to be understood as Tattvamasi, as Brahmatmaikya Bodhena. That is the direct means, that is Sakshat Mokshayika Sadhanam. And Jnanam Bina Moksho na Siddhyati. Without the knowledge, there is no liberation possible. So whatever the rituals one has to do, completely you can do it, but it's only preparation for knowledge. So at one stage in life, once mind is prepared, that the inquiry has to start. The Vedantic study has to start, and that is the means, direct means of liberation, and nothing else will take you to there. Now in the next sloka, we're going to talk about the nature of karma, because there are a lot of ritualist people. They spend their whole life doing the rituals only, but here a warning is being given here, because that cannot give liberation. Aviroditaya karma, aviroditaya karma, na vidyam vinivartayet, na vidyam vinivartayet, vidya vidyam nihancheva, vidya vidyam nihancheva, tejastimira sanghavatu, tejastimira sanghavatu. Together, aviroditaya karma, na vidyam vinivartaye, vidya vidyam nihancheva, tejastimira sanghavatu. Here, Bhagavan is trying to see what exactly the role of karma and why it cannot give the liberation. So, avirodhitaya karma na avidyam inivartayet. This karma or karma yoga here we are talking about, says I am doing karma yoga, karmas and all the rituals, the first the part of the Vedanta, Vedas, dealing with the karma kanda. So you can spend whole life doing all the rituals, but that will not give you liberation. This is essentially statement why it is so. Because he is avirodhitaya karma. So na avidyam. So avidyam avirodhitaya karma. So ignorance is the root cause of a problem. That has to be understood first. So what is the bondage? Bondage is because I do not know myself. I do not know what is this world. I do not know what is my relation to the world. All that is I do not know, I do not know, I do not know. And therefore, this non-apprehension of the reality makes myself misapprehend and say, I take myself as I am this body, I am this mind, and I am this intellect. So the cause for action is because I take myself, I am this body, this mind, and this intellect. That's called ego, ahankara. Ahankara involves I am this. So you say, who are you? You will say, I am this. Your introduction is always, I am this, I am son of so and so, I am engineer, I am a doctor. All biodata is only this information, and all that is I am. So essentially, the whole, that's what is ego is. People who are more egotistical, they will tell you about this, I am this, I go on and on and on, because all this is nothing but is inert, and I am is a conscious entity and existent entity, and I am equating these two, and that is self is the confusion. Why that confusion? Because I do not know my true nature. Therefore, I take myself what I am not as I am, and therefore the cause is avidya, ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of myself. So people think that I am ignorant of chemistry, I am ignorant of biology, I am ignorant of this, and I am ignorant, and you go on studying all those things. And we don't say, nobody will ask you, do I know who I am? Nobody will go and ask people, say, please tell me who I am. He says, you think this guy is a mental. But because everybody assumes they know who they are. Unfortunately, nobody knows what they are. And that's what the scripture is telling us. It says, because that avidya is ignorance. So when did I become ignorant? It's a good question to ask. It says, when did my ignorance started? Ignorance can never start. Why? Because it is anadi, it is beginningless. So if I ask, sir, do you know chemistry? Yes, I don't know chemistry. When did your ignorance of chemistry started? What do you mean, when did my ignorance of chemistry? From the beginning, I don't know. So which means that the ignorance of chemistry is beginningless. Yet, if I start learning chemistry, that beginningless ignorance of chemistry ends with the knowledge of chemistry. I don't know chemistry. What should I do? If I learn physics, that will not help. If I learn any other subject, that will not help. If I don't know chemistry, I have to learn chemistry. So the chemistry ignorance can only be removed by chemistry knowledge. In the same way, if I don't know myself, that is Atma, ignorance about Atma, so therefore only thing that can remove the ignorance of myself is knowing myself what I am. So Atmabodha alone can remove the ignorance of myself. And any other things cannot do. So sir, I do not know chemistry. What should I do? No, I can sit down and do meditate on what? Chemistry. Then chemistry Saraswati will come. Nothing will happen. No action can remove the ignorance. I can open the book and do all sorts of other things. I can go to class and come back from the class. Unless I learn using my mind, the knowledge will not come. Therefore, aviroditaya karma. So the action is not opposite to the ignorance. Only thing that is opposite to ignorance is knowledge alone. Therefore, karma cannot remove ignorance. Although karma is required for gaining the knowledge. In other words, I had to go to school, I had to bring the book, I had to sit down in front of it, I had to watch this in order to know what exactly Atmabodha is. For that, the preparations are required, but that preparation itself will not give me the result. Only thing that result is I had to use my mind in order to gain the knowledge. So here we talk about what is the nature of the mind. So the mind is required for knowledge. Without the mind, I cannot learn. So even including the Atmabodha also, I need the mind. That's why in the previous sloka, it says, Tapo Bhikshina Papanam, where the mind has been purified. So mind has been prepared so that mind can learn now. So I had to use Manayeva Manushyanam Karanam Bandhamokshayoho. Mind is responsible for bondage as well as liberation also. So without the mind, I cannot learn Atma Vidya also. And with the mind only, through the mind, with the mind, I had to remove the ignorance. And the action by itself cannot do the job. So aviroditaya karma. Na avidyam vinivartayet. So therefore, the ignorance cannot be removed by action, because action is not opposite to ignorance. In fact, the action is a byproduct of ignorance. Why do I act? So I want to be happy. Nobody acts unnecessarily, and any action is motivated by desire to be happy. And the desire to be happy is because I have already resolved that I am unhappy. My nature is I am limited. I want to be unlimited, and therefore I am performing an action to gain happiness. So the root cause for the action itself is a notion that I am unhappy, because that notion came in because I do not know myself. So the ignorance contributes to the action. So it's only a byproduct of action, therefore it's not opposite to action. Therefore it's avirodhitaya karma na avidyam. So vidya, the ignorance cannot be removed by action, because it's not opposite to it, because it's a product of only avidya only. It cannot be removed. So what can remove? Vidya avidyam nihancheva tejas timirasangavatu. So vidyam avidyam. So only the knowledge can remove this ignorance. Avidya is removed by vidya, by the appropriate knowledge can be nihanti, therefore destroyed. Eva tejas timirasangavatu. Just as the light alone can remove the darkness, timirasangavatu, the complete darkness or pitch darkness that is there can be only removed not by action, not by prayer, not by meditation. Only light removes the darkness that is there. So in this we need to understand here. See, suppose I enter a cave is completely dark, pitch dark, and the darkness has been there from millions of years maybe, because no one has entered the cave, and it's still there. And even though that beginningless ignorance or darkness of the cave is there, if I light a candle there, that darkness is instantaneously removed. So what happens? The tejas timirasangavatu, a light can only destroy the darkness. What kind of light? That light which is opposite to darkness, naturally. In the case of this example that I gave, when I go to a dark room, a pitch dark room or pitch dark cave, I need still a preparation. I need a candle, I need a matchstick, I need to light the candle, and when the candle is lighted, those are the processes are required to light the candle, but themselves are not the removal of the darkness. What removes is the candle light removes the ignorance, the darkness of the cave. Just the same way, all preparations are required. Karma yoga, upasana yoga, bhakti yoga, all are required, or preparation themselves will not give you the moksha, but what gives is the knowledge. But these are preparations required so that the knowledge can take place, and therefore this example has to be understood properly. So tejas timirasangavatu, just as the darkness of the things are removed by knowledge. I want to ask you to think a little bit. So how do you know it's dark? So if I go to a pitch dark room, this is just a thought process to think. If I go to a pitch dark room, I say what? Say I don't see anything here. Why? It is too dark. So I need a light to shine to illumine the objects that I see in the dark. In the dark. But I asked you a question. How do you know it's dark? I can see. I can see what? I can see darkness. In what light I am seeing the darkness? Do I need a light to see the darkness? Think about it. Because that light in which I can see even darkness, that light is not really opposite to darkness. So therefore I can see that I cannot see. I can see that it is dark, because of which I cannot see any objects there. So, but I can see the darkness in the light of consciousness, because I am conscious of the presence of the darkness there, because of which I cannot see anything else. Though that consciousness is not opposite to the darkness, it can illumine the darkness also. Therefore, when I say the ignorance is the problem, I'll ask, how do you know? How do you know ignorance is the problem? Yes, you say just ignorance is the problem. Because I know. Sir, do you know chemistry? I don't know. But how do you know you don't know chemistry? That I know. I know that I don't know. That means I know what I don't know. I know I don't know myself, because I am taking myself as I am this. And I cannot be this, because there is a contradiction. I am an existent conscious entity, and these are inert things. How can I be this? But yet I am taking it as granted, as I am this body, this mind, and this intellect, and I operate whole my life. And in fact, my life after life I have been operating in that, until the Vedanta, a teacher, comes out of compassion and tells me, you are not this. Neti, not this. Is the scripture has to tell, I am not this, because this is inert. You are a subject and this is an object. A subject cannot be an object. I cannot say I am this, as showing that as I am an object, because I had to be a subject which is different from the object. And that I don't know myself, that ignorance I know. Therefore, the knowledge of the ignorance I know, and I need to know the remedy for it. And the scripture says the remedy is to know what is your true nature. And that is Atmabodha, and that alone can remove the ignorance of the self. Let's go to the next sloka. Parichinna iva jnanat tannase sati kevalaha swayam prakashate hyatma Swayam prakashate yatma meghapayum simaniva parichinna iva jnana tannase sati kevalaha swayam prakashate yatma meghapayum simaniva. So here, how does the knowledge removes the ignorance? Is going to parichinna iva jnana tannase sati kevalaha swayam prakashate atma megha payum simaniva. So how does this self-knowledge takes place? So there is always a question, who is going to realize what? How am I going to know this is self, or I am going to know Atma? Atma is an object for me to know by the study of the scriptures. Now I know I am this. Is that the way? Or I am Atma. It's not an objectification of the knowledge. So here he is going to give us some example of how exactly this knowledge takes place. Parichinna iva jnanat. So this parichinna iva ajnanat tannase sati kevalaha. This ajnanat, because of the ignorance, and I take myself, I am limited, parichinnam, and tannase sati kevalaha swayam prakashate yatma. So right now, because of the ignorance, I take myself as parichinnam, means I am limited. I am limited, localized, I am only here and not there. Because I take myself, I am the body, or I am the mind, I am the intellect. My body is limited, my mind is limited, my intellect limited. So each one is limited because I am not that body. Only when I say I am this, is my ego, I am not that. So because of the limitation, the ego involves a limitation, and because of the limitation, this is due to coming from the ignorance. So parichinnam iva ajnanat, because of the ignorance, I take myself as limited. Tannase sati kevalaha. So by the destruction of the ignorance, that through the Atmabodha, tannase sati, when that ignorance is removed, therefore even the parichinnatvam also is gone, and swayam prakasate hyatma, it shines by itself. Megha paye amsamaneva. Just as when the clouds are removed, the sun shines itself. It's a very beautiful example here Shankara gives. So you see, somebody says, hey, I don't see the sun. Sun is not visible. Why? Because the clouds are covering the sun. So the example is, so clouds are covering the sun, and therefore I cannot see the sun. This is all our typical example. We say sun is not seen because the clouds are covering. So then ask question, how do you know? How do you know what? How do you know that sun is covering the clouds? The clouds are covering the sun. I can see. You can see what? That I cannot see the sun and I am seeing the clouds. Therefore I say the clouds are covering the sun. How are you seeing the clouds? What do you mean how are you seeing? I can see. How? Are you putting some torchlight to see the clouds? No, I can see the clouds in the sunlight only. The sunlight, because of which I can see the clouds covering the sun, and because of the clouds I cannot see the sun. It's a very peculiar example, because clouds are covering the sun, but those covering clouds are known only because of sun only, because I can see those clouds in the sunlight. But that sun I cannot see. And in the same way, I am ignorant is also known through Atma only, through the consciousness, because I am conscious of the ignorance also of myself. In what light? In the light of consciousness that I am. So therefore, what is happening in the clouds? Clouds are covering the sun. Clouds cannot really cover the sun because the sun is so big compared to clouds, but those who are underneath the clouds cannot see the sun. Those are away in different places, they may be able to see the sun. So because I am right under the vasanas, as you look at the chart, vasana chart, and so if you look at these vasanas, where I am in fact directly underneath that omkara that you see, and because of that vasanas, because of my raga dveshas, I am not able to see the underlying truth. I am pure beyond all these things. So therefore, when I say the clouds are covering the sun, the clouds that cannot cover the sun but appears to be covering the sun for those who are underneath the clouds, and they are able to see the clouds also because of the sun only, and still claim that they cannot see the sun. So what should I do? If the wind blows the clouds away, if there is a proper means of removing those things that are obstructing the vision of the sun, a proper sadhana that removes it, that which can remove the obstruction, then what should I do after that? Nothing to do. Swayam prakashati hyatma. It shines by itself. When the clouds are move away, the sun which is shining all the time, even when clouds are being covered, is now self-revealing. It becomes visible now. Not that it was not there, it was there before also. Because of the obstruction, I could not see it. Now the obstruction is removed. Therefore, it is Swayam Prakasham. I don't need any more torch to see the sun now. The sun is self-revealing. Therefore, it is Swayam Prakashaha. So, in the same way, Atma. So, Swayam Prakashati Atma. So, consciousness is self-illuminating. I don't need another consciousness to illumine this consciousness. It is Swayam Jyotihi. Jyotir Jyotihi, Swayam Jyotihi. So, it is Swayam Jyoti. It is shined by itself. So, here is a simple example. I think it's in the Naishkarmya Siddhi, where it gives an example of where if I have a pitch dark room and I'm entering it, I cannot see, therefore I turn the light on, the torchlight on to see the objects. So I'm illumining through a torchlight the objects that are there and which I could not see before, and in the light of torchlight I could see all the objects. But suppose there is a pot, there is a candle which is burning, but the pot is covering. So I need a torchlight to see the pot that is covering the candlelight. But if I remove the pot, then I don't need any more torchlight to see the burning candle, because the burning candle is Swayam Jyotihi. So all I have to do is remove the pot. In the same way, the ignorance has to be removed by the knowledge, and that knowledge automatically removes the ignorance, revealing the self-shining, all-illuminating consciousness that I am, because of which I was conscious of even the process that is going on. The ignorance and the ignorance removal is also I am conscious of. So that is the nature of Atma. So with that, we'll stop and we'll resume the class next Sunday. We'll do now Purnamadah Purnamidam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.